Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Pac-Man here once again, and I am of course back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament for the Game Boy Advance. So, last time we did manage to tackle through possibly is one of the longest worlds, and not only for the entire game, but also to me, one of the longest worlds throughout the entire series, which appears to be Buddy Forms of Golin's Castle. And overall, despite I did have some bit of troubles here and there, most notably some of the hardest puzzles I've ever come across, but regardless of everything else though, we also did beat the likes of the forms of not only Guns for the forms of the final race in the game, but also beat Golin for the final boss of the game. So today, this will be the finale in terms of Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament, and because of that though, we're going to be able to actually hit back into the previous world, because if you manage to able to collect all 9 of those sunstones in each world, basically this will open up some of these familiar extra visions. Or to be more specifically this time around though, I believe there are about 5 of those extra visions this time around, which I can assure to you that unlike the forms of how it does it in Moonlight Museum, that basically it does manage to able to contain about 6 of those extra visions throughout. Whilst in here though, it's now 5 extra visions. And like I said before, in order to able to unlock those kinds of levels, it's the fact that we have to able to collect all of those sunstones in each world. So, like for example, in order to able to unlock Extra Vision 1 is the fact that it's pretty simple. You have to able to actually find every single sunstones in order to able to actually unlock these kinds of levels. So, and basically though, some of these levels are usually sometimes contains some of the trickier platforming segments from time to time. Like for instance, in the first Extra Vision is going to be involved around in kind of a tricky platforming in order to deal with, but regardless of anything else though, is the fact that you should able to do this alright, especially noticeable if you're trying to able to play this within, you know what I mean, with the actual controller and stuff like that on my emulator. So at the very least we can able to actually just do just that. So, and some other levels though does manage to able to actually offer us a bit of a time attack syndrome, which basically you can able to actually beat your own time record and all that stuff though. It only exists on the forms of some odd numbered extra visions and stuff like that. Like I know there's one as it says on the forms of Extra Vision 1 and Extra Vision 3 coming up, and especially noticeable with the final Extra Vision. So because of that though, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Although I will say is that the first Extra Vision level is pretty self-explanatory, despite the fact that how tricky it was at first. But then later on, whenever we get into Extra Vision 2, that I'm sure that we'll discuss on that in a moment. So, yeah, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that today's date is of course the 11th of March today, in this case in 2022 today. So we've pretty much almost to the point that we've almost actually onto the halfway point in terms of the forms of March throughout the whole month so far. So naturally speaking, it's just the fact of the matter is though, is that, well, relatively speaking, is the fact that, well, today, that I've already did manage to able to pre-order myself Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you know, Booster Course Pass already, so I'm basically all prepared for next week. And because of that though, speaking of such though, is the fact that I think Maxi has already mentioned about this ever since and during the course of the entire Let's Play of this entirety of Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis for the Game Boy Advance, which thankfully he finally managed to complete that god-awful game. Because of that though, he managed to able to delete that game for reals, because it seems pretty obvious that he doesn't really like that game, because obviously with all that screwed up physics, and also you probably know what I mean. So, but I digress. And I suppose I should probably able to mention about something else for that matter. That is the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that there was actually buddy forms of that new game that I think I've already discussed on that ever since, and by the end of the entire Let's Play of Warrior Land 4. That basically though is the fact that, you know, the game I mentioned to you guys earlier, for those of you of the bronies out there, that the game I'm usually talking about is, of course, My Little Pony: A Maritime Bay Adventure, that's about to be coming onto the Nintendo Switch during at some point on May for this year. And because of that though, not only does it get ourselves the Nintendo Switch release, but also other platforms as well, ranging from the forms of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One / Series X / Series S, depending on what specific Xbox Series consoles you're about to be getting, and even PC Steam. So yeah, that seems kind of, I'm not gonna lie, pretty awesome actually. Well, usually despite the fact that I was a little bit mixed with, you know, Sonny Star Scout's voice clip they used, because I was expecting they were able to actually almost sounds exactly like the ones in the film, but apparently though it's gonna get itself its voice changed, so not exactly sure how that's gonna work, but either way though, we'll see what happens in due time. And yeah, like I said, that particular game is about to be coming out on May, specifically May 27th, for the sake of the forms of this year. So it's more accurately, specifically, almost to the point during the forms of summer season. So because of that though, yeah, I can't believe it's now able to actually not only manage to able to release on the Nintendo Switch, so that way you can play the game on the go, but also for the very first time ever, for the sake of the forms of, well, not counting the forms of the Monopoly DLC, for the My Little Pony themed board on Monopoly game on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. But also, this is actually the first time ever that the My Little Pony game has now been appeared from the likes of not only from the Nintendo Switch, like I said, but also the PlayStation family of consoles, to be more specifically the PlayStation 4, and also Microsoft Xbox systems, ranging from, you know, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Series S as well. So yeah, it's pretty wild and all that stuff. And on top of all that stuff though, PC Steam as well, at least to be more specifically with the G5 counterpart of My Little Pony stuff. So, and well, I've seen a trailer of it. It runs at 60 frames per second at all times, and at least as far as I can usually think about it. And one thing I did not even actually realize is the fact that usually for the sake of time, for those of you who lived in Europe, or to be more specifically in my case, in the UK, it turns out that Bandai Namco Europe is going to be involved in that development, or the publisher or something like that, which I was like, seriously, is this like, is this kind of weird, able to have a My Little Pony game being published by, I don't know, like Bandai Namco? Because as far as I'm aware, we're about to be getting a lot of games coming from the likes of Bandai Namco, which there are not only for the sake of the forms of My Little Pony and Maritime Bay adventure for multi-platforms and all that stuff, you know, very similar to any other like outright games publishers for the sake of the forms of other titles here and there, such as of course the Hotel Transylvania game like I mentioned earlier, and as well as the forms of other shovelware games here and there as well, which I can't think of it on top of my head because I know for the fact that it has been quite a while since I actually known about this specific stuff though, but I mean, let's face it though, that's as far as I can usually think about it. Actually, gonna think about it though, is the fact that the My Little Pony Maritime Bay Adventure, for the sake of the actual release date, like I mentioned earlier, is gonna due out at some point on the 27th of May in 2022. So that means also my new game, or to be more specifically, Pac-Man Museum Plus is also going to be releasing on the 27th of May as well. So yeah, pretty interesting and pretty awesome at the same time that the My Little Pony game and the Pac-Man game is releasing during around the exact same time as each other. So, except the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that, wow, the only thing it's kind of missing for this particular thing itself of the actual console of platforms they go for, sadly no PlayStation 5 owners for the sake of the forms of not only Pac-Man Museum Plus, but also My Little Pony and Maritime Bay Adventure, because I know for the fact that the graphics powerhouse is not going to be able to actually get itself a strong compatibility for the sake of the forms of stronger visuals for PlayStation 5 owners or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty swell, I have to say, especially noticeable about the fact that, relatively speaking, with those two games combined, they'll be able to be on Bandai Namco and stuff like that. Well, specifically in Europe, Well, until eventually on July, they will get ourselves our Klonoa remasters for multi-platforms as well. The only exception this being is the fact that obviously Klonoa is also going to include the PlayStation 5 release, so that makes things 10 times gorgeous than ever before, at least specifically for those of you guys who are able to actually just to decide able to get the PlayStation 5, despite the fact that it might be still hard to find right now because, you know, expensive and all that stuff. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. Specifically only for the Brownies community, for the My Little Pony fans. Which specific version of My Little Pony, a Maritime Bay adventure, of what specific console or platform you might go for? You can either go the let's just say the Switch version, so you can play the game on the go, or you know, the Steam version, in case if there are some stronger communities out there for maybe trying to mod the game with, like, I don't know, maybe added in Generation 4 ponies and stuff like that. I mean, that would be awesome. And even on the PS4 version for its trophy support eventually, or the Xbox One/Series X version for achievements, which is kind of the same thing as trophies, except, well, you know what I mean. So yeah, I can't really tell what version I'm going to be getting though. Well, mind you, I wasn't exactly ready for that yet because, well, I was going to have to wait and find out until what the actual reviews will look like, until when that game finally comes out on the 27th of May. So that might be something worth noting for, so, but we'll just see. So anyways though, here we go on to Extravision 2, as you can see, which we once again going back into the Northern Express for the sake of the forms of this entire world theme. And this time around though, as you can tell, there's no time attack or anything else to be more specific, because this level involves around almost like a maze-like, and also this is, I think, kind of thing about it though, this will actually be the final time we're going to be doing with possibly one of the hardest puzzle segments throughout the majority of the game, which I was like, okay, that's fine by me, because, well, let's just say this right now about the fact that I'm just very looking forward to able to actually done with every single puzzle elements for the sake of this game. Although, don't get me wrong, I don't mind it still, but it's just the fact that it can be very, very tough and difficult on certain situations, you know? Especially noticeable, it does manage to take me about a couple of minutes, not able to actually do all that stuff. But, thankfully, this video is actually nowhere near as long as the forms of how it does it on the likes of, not only the 4th world, but also the 5th world as well, because good lord, with those two parts from the likes of in Monday and Wednesday potentially, jeez Louise, the actual length of those videos is actually ridiculously long, because especially noticeable about the fact that certain puzzles usually drags on every now and then, even especially noticeable after a lot of trial and error and stuff like that. Which, that reminds me, originally, I was expecting to also include the forms of not only the guns race, but also the final boss against with Garland, before he dived right into the extra visions throughout. But I've decided that, nah, that doesn't seem right. So because of that though, yeah, that was originally planned, but I just wanted able to actually get this thing and move on. So that's why I've essentially trying to able to do that method, so. And of course, just like always, just like in the forms of how it does it on any extra vision levels, for the sake of the forms of those other Klonoa games, you're still able to actually come across into a gem packed with 1-up tokens if you somehow wasting a lot of extra lives to begin with. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So anyways, before we leave the level, we'll grab our final Dreamstone onto this entire level, and we are done with Extra Vision 2. So I believe we've only got about, let's just say 3 levels to go, because like I said, there are about 5 extra visions in this game this time around. So, and also I realized is the fact that every time you collect all of those Dreamstones in each world, or the each and every single extra levels, is the fact that they actually took down 2 pieces of the actual jewels from the actual picture image. So yeah, that might be something worth noting for the sake of time. So anyways, let's head over back onto Eastern Desert again for the final time, because obviously the next level we're going to be hopping into is a Vision Extra 3. So, once again, we're going back to the Time Attack Syndrome. So, eventually at this point is the fact that the levels themselves are gonna get much harder at this point. Well, thankfully, the length itself wasn't all that long, assuming if you're trying to able to do a lot of emphasis on skill. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, and I suppose I should probably mention about this as well, I think, is that, well, honestly, guys, there's not much else I can talk about, because, well, I know for the fact that Maxi has already mentioned about, for the sake of the forms of, you know what I mean, with the Mario Kart Tour, Mini Tour is now already up, and especially noticeable with the forms of, you know, kind of a bad, unfortunate news for the sake of the forms of some nostalgia shows out there. To be more specifically, that I'm sure that Maxi has already pointed things out ever since in this very terrible Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis Let's Play, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, and I suppose I should probably mention about this as well, I think, also, that one thing that Maxi has totally forgot to mention about, because obviously he got so distracted by the forms of the actual, you know how bad Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis went for the Game Boy Advance, but apart from those side of things though, there was actually a new State of Play presentation that it did recently came up, ever since on Wednesday, which I suppose I forgot to mention about, ever since during the course of, well, in this game in particular. So, yeah, I totally apologize for able to actually not mention about this whatsoever, but, yeah, the State of Play presentation for the PlayStation, to be more specifically with PS4 and 5, that, did recently show up. Although, I was expecting if I was trying to able to actually mention, like, new information and all that stuff, but I think I should probably wait for a while until, maybe until when, Raid the Flying Squirrel, or maybe someplace else we're able to actually focusing on other Let's Plays or anything else to be more specific, but we'll just see what happens there, so. Anyway though, and what's also very strange about this is the fact that much like the forms of in last month, which normally last month we actually got ourselves the recent Nintendo Direct for about a month ago, that was actually alright. So usually, or should I say, good. Damn good. Like, literally damn good. Well, at least to be more specifically with Mario football fans are really happy to able to actually see, you know, Mario Strikers are now finally coming back after 15 years since on the Wii and all that stuff. So, yeah, I should probably explain about that for the sake of time. So, anyways, let's go ahead and keep on using the double jumps here, despite the fact that I've lost another life because, well, there was no way I can able to actually just to get this part within just a little amount of health left, but that's okay because, oh, Jesus Louise! Darn it. I wasn't quick enough, but oh well. Thankfully, we've got the checkpoint right there, so I don't need to able to worry about this for the sake of time. Because, yeah, just like the forms of how it does it from before, that if you ever touch those spikes, very much like the forms of any other Mega Man games up to this point, basically it's instant death. So, yeah, just have to watch out for that. So, anyways, let's go ahead and, keep on moving. So, in this case, we're gonna have to able to do a bit of a timing to work with, and especially noticeable about the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking though, is the fact that in addition to able to actually still able to actually collect ourselves some of those dream stones you can still collect, but this time around though, there's no way you can able to actually get those sunstones anymore because, well, we basically collected every single one. So, it's all just a matter of the fact that not only do you collect 30 of those dream stones, but also that you can now able to actually just only collect those star stones in order to able to actually, you know, finish every single level throughout for these extra visions in mind. So, oh jeez, that was really close. Okay. Oh man, I was a bit nervous at first because, well, I was expecting if I was trying to able to actually utilize something as super helpful, but I've honestly no idea where I'm going. But, because I was assuming about the fact that I could assure to you that, oh wait a second, I just found out that, if we go ahead and, go back in here, and then, let me just go ahead and, do this quickly. Is this the progression? Oh, come on, go on, jump up. Oh, jeez, that was close. Oh, jeez, Louise. Oh, I can't believe that particular disappearing platform just almost throws me off a little bit. But no matter, because we'll just go ahead to, like, keep on breaking those treasure chests before we do anything. So, anyway, so let's just go ahead and double check on those other treasure chests, see what they usually contains, and oh, bingo. Thankfully, we've got all of those dreamstones, so, well, it's just a matter of the fact that we can able to do this last part, which is turn on these little time-based switches, and we leave the level like so. Not too bad for this level, despite how tricky it is, because, well, like I said, every once in a while, every extra vision levels might start to get a little bit tougher at this rate, but, nothing to do with the forms of puzzle solving or anything else to be more specific, luckily, unlike Extra Vision 2, but you know what I mean. So, anyways, let's move on now to going back onto Southern Resort, so that way we can able to do with another Extra Vision level, which this time around though is not going to be involved surrounding the time attack records or anything else to be more specific, so... Anyways, let's hop into this, and I get the horrible feeling that this level might actually be one of the hardest of the game, because, well, not only for this first part is the fact that we have to dodge a lot of spikes, while trying to able to do continuous amount of double jumps with certain enemies and all that stuff, but also about the fact that we'll come across into very, very stingy sections like these ones right here, that if you mess up once, right here, you die. So because of that though, there's a lot of bottomless pits in this place. So because of that though, yeah, prepare yourselves a lot, I mean a lot of trial and error on this level, which it does almost reminds me of a little bit for the likes of in Klonoa 2, Lunati's Veil sometimes, with certain secret stages and all that stuff, but usually this is kind of feels a bit impossible mode or something like that. Well, at least luckily though, there's no time limit or anything else to be more specific, unlike Impossible Pack from the likes of New Super Mario Bros. 2. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, anyways, let's keep on moving, and just gonna have to able to be sure I need to do this a bit accurate for that, you know, that little double jumps in mind, but luckily we've passed through it, so yeah, this might be not as easy as it looks, and especially noticeable because, well, up to that point, we're now able to actually come across into those crystallized enemies, as you can tell, in order to able to actually just to progress. But, yeah, you can't afford to mess up at least once for able to continue your progressioning, because if you mess it up, in the middle portion of the certain sections of the entire level, you have to do this whole entire ordeal again, which, believe me, if you ever try to do this within the original cartridge version of the game, it'll be hellish to able to actually just to, like, go for this stuff. Although, mind you though, because I'm still playing this on the emulator, because obviously, in addition to able to actually just to, well, finally able to actually experience this game by myself, but also just trying to able to actually just to deal with a lot of, like, well, it might be hard to explain, because it's been 2 days ago since I've last touched this. Oh, so close. Oh, yeah. I can see why a lot of people seem to always have a bit of frustration with this level, because, well, not only do you have to able to actually just to keep trying and trying again, but also because this particular level is filled to the brim with trial and error situations, like, you know, if you mess things up on these particular parts like this, and you can't afford to able to mess it up, like I said. So, anyways, now we've passed through there. And now it's going to move on to this next part, which is going to be involved surrounding these kinds of segments. So, I'm really hoping this will be easy though, at least if I may be wrong. This is going to be tricky there, it looks. Oh well, just going to have to keep focus on it, I suppose. But, jeez, I messed it up. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of cool that not only that, like I said before, that about a month ago that we've already got ourselves the recent Nintendo Direct, but also during the forms of 2 days ago, which is roughly the exact same number day, but in a different month, and I believe it's the exact same day of the week as well, that we got ourselves State of Play presentation, which is like the PlayStation equivalent to Nintendo Direct throughout the month, so for March's sake. So yeah, pretty cool I have to say. And obviously ever since in yesterday that we've already able to come across into ourselves a Happy Mario 10 Day from the likes of in yesterday. So I'm pretty sure that Maxi has already mentioned about this ever since in Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis Let's Play for the Game Boy Advance. So in fact, kind of think about it though, once we're done with the forms of a whole bunch of those Game Boy Advance Let's Plays for the sake of our channel at this point, because either way though, it really depends on it though, because we keep on doing a lot of those Game Boy Advance Let's Plays for our channel for the entire year so far, which is pretty insane if you ask me, especially because, well, relatively speaking, it's just the fact that I messed it up. There's no way I can able to actually mess things up at this point, but we'll just keep trying. But thankfully those enemies do respawn if you somehow mess things up completely, despite I just somehow managed to able to lose another life. Because, well, what's the point of able to actually wasting time? Just keep on doing a lot of trial and error here and there, like these right here, so... But luckily though, there's no bottomless pits on these segments like these ones right here, thankfully. It's just that, you know, you have to deal with a lot of ridiculously overly timed timing aspects because, well, it's pretty obvious you can't afford to mess it up once, so... Because if you messed up multiple times, then you have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again, completely filled to the brim of, like, you know, a lot of frustration involved. So, plus you have to be super fast on these points as well, because, well, as you can tell, in order to progress, you have to able to go for this. So, unlike certain optional collectibles from the past few levels, then basically you can able to do just that. So, if you think we've done, well, there's one last obstacle before we move on to the true final level in the entire game, which is of course Extra Vision 5. We have to keep doing that, despite the fact that, well, we keep on messing things up completely. And there we go. God, I think my thumbs are actually starting to get hurt a little bit after dealing with a lot of, like, tedium like these ones. Well, conveniently enough, we keep on getting ourselves the every single C ranks, which I know for the fact that I'm not very great at the forms of those extra visions in this game, I will have to say. But, at least the picture does look pretty cool, I have to say. Even though we might able to come across into our familiar friend from the likes of the first game, which we're probably not gonna able to point things out right away right now. Because here we go, back onto Garland's castle, because, well, here we go, onto the true final level in the entire game, which is of course, Extra Vision 5. So because of that though, yeah, we're going back into the time attack routine. So, except this time, this level is going to be quite a challenge, because this place is filled to the brim with a lot of enemies you have to work with. And on top of all that stuff though, is the fact that you have to do with the forms of a lot. I mean, a lot of hazards in this place, so... But yeah, you get the idea about that. So, anyways, let's go ahead and keep on climbing up before doing so. So, I don't think there's any point I can able to actually discuss upon my final thoughts of this game already. So, because of that, though, I think I should probably able to mention about this anyway before we, continue things on in this stage. But all in all, this game is really good. But either way, though, it wasn't exactly my favorite game in the series, but I think it certainly is pretty, dang good. But, there are some, glaring issues I have with the game, such as, for instance, that... Well, like I said before, my only major gripe I have with the game is its difficulty with puzzles. Well, I understand for the challenge and all that stuff though, compared to other games they are pretty easy, so they at least offer the challenge a bit. But I think to me, the difficulty in this game can be felt a bit too much for my taste, but I can still guarantee about the forms of my feelings about the forms of puzzle segments in this game can get a lot harder every now and then, but... It knows what it is. It's not the game's fault or anything. It's just that my personal preference here and there for the sake of the forms of depending on what difficulty I'll go for. But anywho, so and also that, you know, the visual still looks really damn good. Even on the Game Boy Advance, it still looks quite impressive during that time. So, especially noticeable, they've now able to actually added in some new visual styles for the sake of the forms of the hoverboard segments, because they're now in, like, proper 3D and stuff like that, which is always an appreciation with that stuff though. So yeah, that might be something worth noting for. But anyway, let's just go ahead and do a bit of a double jump thingy going on here, so we can able to actually just to proceed. Oh jeez, I'm almost gonna get hit by that enemy, because if I do get hit by an enemy, I have to go all the way back to that previous part again. So we're just gonna have to able to do with, you know, a bit of tricky controlling and just be patient for the most part anyway. So anyways, let's go ahead and toss that enemy over there and grab this another star stone. So yeah, I can't believe that we actually almost nearly at the end of this game, because, well, unfortunately for the sake of time, we're probably not going to see Klonoa for such a quite a long while, until God knows that, like I said, if we decide to do you know, Klonoa 1 and 2 again, but this time on modern hardware for the Nintendo Switch or something like that, because I would love to able to actually just to play those two games again, but this time around though within 1080p support. And on top of all that stuff though, I would appreciate if I was able to actually just to show you guys not only Klonoa Beach Volleyball game on the PlayStation, but also Klonoa Heroes Legendary Star Medal for its English patched version of the game, for able to understand the menu commands and all that stuff. But it's kind of a shame I don't come across into one yet, but hopefully I'll do some massive research on it later on today. So for the most part though, that's as far as I can think about it. So oh jeez, I keep on getting surrounded by a whole crowded with enemies. Oh well, we'll just keep trying, and thus we've already got a lot of extra lives to our disposal, so at the very least that's something, I suppose. So anyways, just keep moving, and hopefully we'll just keep trying and just keep moving along, and then hopefully we'll get it right this time. So alright, so I do apologize for that particular sniffing as you hear me for about a few moments or a few seconds ago, because, well, I'm feeling fine, don't worry, but it's just the fact that it might be a kind of worth noting for the sake of the fact that, well, I have to able to sniff at some point. Although it's not pleasant to hear, but regardless of such though, that's something's worth classified for noticing this. So anyways, let's go ahead and continue things on here. Seems that we've pretty much almost towards the end at this point. It's just the fact that we have to do with a lot, quite a lot of like few obstacles later, so we can able to just wait. Oh, okay. That was a close one. But anyway, something's worth mentioning for this point as well is the fact that I'm pretty sure that I'll let some toys else will mention more details about that until whenever we get into on the 17th of March, that we're probably not going to discuss on that for quite some time. So anyways, let's go ahead and keep on moving, and I can assure you this might actually be the last. Oh wait, this is not the wait, is this the last part of the level? I could have sworn this is actually the last part of the level, because after all, as you can tell, I've got 84 extra lives so far. Even though there's actually no way I'm not going to get a game over anytime soon. Oh wait, I think this is the last part of the level. Yeah, I think this is the last section of the level. So after that though, we are basically done with Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament for the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, that's something worth noting for the sake of this particular discussions to make. So another extra life, so whoever needs those, because I already got loads, so it doesn't matter if I die so many times. But either way though, oh no, this place is gonna be filled to the brim with keep on reappearing enemies syndrome, aren't they? Well, we got to deal with it anyway, so we're just gonna have to hopefully, God forbid, not to get hit so many times. So hopefully, hope for the best. Alright, now we actually got all the star stones, but we only missing this particular the final dream stone in the entire game, so I think it's gonna be one of those chests. So could be either be right or left. So let's try the left. Nope. Apparently, it's the one on the right, so oh jeez, that was close. Alright, just gonna have to focus. Come on. Reappear, please. Thank you. Move out of the way, and grab this last dreamstone, and we're done. We're done with every single extra levels for the likes of Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament. So god, I got hit by 8 enemy encounters, so yeah, that's surely it's something. So anyways, let's see the final dream gallery in this entire game, which involves around not only Klonoa, but also Popka, and even the forms of Lolo, and... is that Hupo? From the likes of Daughter Phantomile? Congratulations, you did it! Here is the illustration for the EX stage. Hupo sent us all these apples. Ah! A throwback to the forms of Daughter Phantomile, I see. He says he's traveling all around the world. I wonder how he's doing. Hupo. I miss him. I'm sure I'll see him again. Well, to be more specifically, Klonoa, that you will able to actually see him again for the one of those remastered collection games on the HD consoles. So, yeah, we'll be very pleased to see Hupo again until, like I said, since earlier on in the video, until July this year. So, and that's pretty much about it for the sake of the forms of Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament for the Game Boy Advance. I hope you guys are able to enjoy this playthrough, because I know for the fact that a lot of people seem to don't do this game as much as the forms of the other games, but I'm finally glad able to actually do this game for the sake of you guys, especially noticeable for Klonoa fans out there, such as myself. But I digress. So this is me, Pac-Man, from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, and until then, I'm not exactly sure what's going to be up next for Klonoa's selections of Let's Plays, but let me know in the comments below to be able to actually pick those 3 specific Klonoa games I'm about to do next. But let's just say, I'm sorry to say Klonoa, but we'll have to take a break from you for a little while. So, sorry mate, but you're still cool nonetheless. So, see you then, bye.